As the old saying goes, all good things must come to an end, and such is the case for the sixth canonical entry in a franchise I hold very dear to my heart, the Yakuza series. On all fronts, Yakuza 6 The Song of Life serves as a pivot in many ways. It introduces a brand new game engine, and it's also billed to serve as a torch passer as series mainstay Kazuma Kiryu hangs up his snakeskin shoes as a recurring playable character. Plot-wise, Yakuza 6 kicks off right after the events of the previous game. To atone, Kiryu turns himself in and is jailed for 3 years. As soon as he gets out, all hell breaks loose. The Korean and Chinese mafia fight for control of the criminal underworld, his adoptive daughter disappears and winds up in hospital, with Kiryu tasked with looking after her newborn son and searching for his elusive father all across Japan. These events overlap to create a bunch of wrongs only Kiryu can make right once more. Visually, the game is an unpolished gem. The new Dragon engine really goes to town with amazing lighting, texture work, and reflections. The engine also allows for more enemies and models to be on screen at once, allowing streets to feel a lot more bustling than ever before. Kamurocho has never looked better. At a price, of course. Unfortunately, there's a fair amount of screen tearing and frame rate jumps if you're running on a vanilla PS4, so if you want the best experience, be sure you're playing on a PS4 Pro for better resolution and a more consistent 30 frames per second. The gameplay is considered quite polarizing for fans new and old, as the new combat system may appear initially clunky and sluggish. Though after consideration of Kiryu nearing 50 years of age, the changes really sell the idea that he's not getting any younger or quicker, and while he's still capable of kicking punk ass, that old grey mare ain't what she used to be. Outside of combat, it can be a mixed bag. While the Yakuza series has a penchant for small, albeit dense geographical maps to roam around, the two locations in the game can feel a little bare compared to previous titles in the series. The lack of things to do in Onomichi, Hiroshima works well aesthetically, as it's just a small fisherman's village off Hiroshima, but for the most part it fails to justify its existence outside the main plot. While there's still plenty to do in Kamurocho, key areas are blocked off like Purgatory and Park Boulevard, which generally house a lot of content like the Colosseum and plenty more. Speaking of which, there's significantly less amount of diversions in Yakuza 6, and depending on how you feel about side content, it may extremely disappoint you or satisfy you immensely. With that in mind, you're still in for a pretty satisfying 40 hours of content, and if I may draw a parallel to Yakuza 3, the story's far more focused and personal, even if it meanders around the final act. Though yes, I'm still in love with the brutal combat, the really sardonic sense of humor that trumps even the likes of Grand Theft Auto, and the stellar localization. Oh my god. Like, the Atlus team have done an amazing job here, with next to no translation inconsistencies and little footnotes within the game's loading screens to educate players on the nuances of modern and traditional Japanese culture, which is completely exclusive to the overseas version, so wonderful stuff. Admittedly, I was quite pessimistic about Yakuza 6, particularly after the Japanese release, and now that I've spent some time with it, I'm convinced it deserves its status as a diamond in the rough. Despite its shortcomings, a lot of it can be attributed to teething issues of changing to the Dragon engine, and in due time, with a bit of elbow grease, the efforts will pay off in subsequent installments. Yakuza 6 may have rocked the boat a little, but it's a decent bookend for Kiryu's adventures and signals a new vision for the series, a vision I'm looking very forward to seeing fully realized.